A lifetime service warranty, no clog.
Lifetime warranty. 1-800-672-4348, aluminumcompany.com.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger, and you can get started now by saving when you join today. We have all the best-in-class equipment you could ever need, and you can work out your way on your time at any convenient location near you. Most open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Offer ends April 25th. Proud partner of the Carolina Hurricanes.
See Home Club for details.
Rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 16 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, and world-class virtual tracks. Apex Racing Lab brings the adrenaline-pumping world of sim racing to life. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned pro, you can race friends and family for fun or join a competitive league. Ready to race? Head to Apex Racing Lab in Cary's McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh and unleash your racing passion. Learn more at ApexRacingLab.com.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
It's been said that when someone you love has Parkinson's, you have Parkinson's. If you have questions, the Parkinson's Foundation has answers. Learn more at Parkinson.org or call 1-800-473-4636.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Today is a WRAL weather alert day. We have a level 1 risk for storms. That means that just a few isolated cells could produce some wind damage. We'll continue to see that chance increasing, especially as we get closer to the evening commute. Our high this afternoon, 83 degrees. Storms ending after midnight. We'll see lows in the mid-60s, and then we'll repeat tomorrow with afternoon and evening storms. We'll have a high of 79.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 995 points at 39,166. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting Schools. Deep River wants you to come fight the clay invasion. Come shoot down clay targets at Deep River Sporting Clays and Shooting School. Visit deepriversportingclays.com. This is The Drive on 999 The Fan. Graham Hill back at the ranch as we are getting Tim and Dennis connected. They are live outside the Lenovo Center. Paul Eihander might be joining me in the studios as well. When it's the Stanley Cup playoffs and it's Game 2, it's a little all hands on deck, especially when it's the Carolina Hurricanes. So why not just go ahead and have the whole fan team on standby for coverage as we get Tim and Dennis connected. And Game 2, Stanley Cup playoffs between the Carolina Hurricanes and the New Jersey Devils. 6 o'clock puck drop. Overall, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The 6 o'clock start time kind of just sets the tone for possibly what could be a very, very weird game tonight for the Carolina Hurricanes. And what I mean by that, I don't think it's going to be as smooth sailing as it was on Sunday, just because the Stanley Cup playoffs can be so unpredictable. They can be so nerve-wracking. And for as well as Carolina played on Sunday afternoon, I think that just might go ahead and tell us that we need to expect the unexpected tonight as they take on the New Jersey Devils. As folks, this is just live radio at its finest as we are going, trying to get them connected. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Hurricanes can do against the New Jersey Devils. And I think the main thing is going to be trying to stay out of the penalty box for the Carolina Hurricanes. But why listen to me, as we're going to see how the Hurricanes can handle everything, as I now have Paul Eihander from Next Up. Like I said, when it's the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's all hands on deck, right?
It is always all hands on deck. It's going to be a great afternoon out at Lenovo Center for the early start. So for a lot of you just getting going here, you're going to have to figure it out real quick, getting down to Lenovo Center for a 6 o'clock puck drop. It'll happen just after at that point. And the gates have been open for a couple of hours now. We know the traffic's going to be a little iffy. So tonight you may want an early jump start to get moving, to get out to Lenovo Center for tonight's game, especially if you have any sort of, tickets. That would be helpful. As of late last night, they still had tickets available. I'm not sure if it's going to be a walk-up style event today for sure, but when it comes to getting there and getting involved in parking, today will be a good day to do it. And fingers crossed, we'll be able to hold off on some of the stormy weather and some of the rain that is expected here in the Triangle. And as I checked the weather app before I jumped into studio here, before I came running in here, and looking at said weather, and I'm opening it up right now for the weather, it suggests right now thunderstorms possible after 5 o'clock with a little bit of marginal craziness out there. And then we are talking about some okay humidity. So it won't be too terrible as they open up the doors about 5 o'clock once the guys come off, and knowing that Tim and Dennis are out there on the quad, so to speak, or out there with the inflatable Stormies and whatnot, as I see us trying to reestablish some connections with the guys out there on the plaza at Lenovo Center. Carolina Hurricanes against Storm Watch with Adam Gold starting at 5 o'clock. Puck drop just after 6 here on 99.9 The Fan, and you can find us wherever you stream as well for all the game coverage with Mike and Trip live from Lenovo Center. So here's the deal tonight. It's a Game 2. It's a Game 2 for the Carolina Hurricanes against the New Jersey Devils. And as you're trying to figure out exactly where things are lined up and exactly where this team needs to be moving forward, you go, did they play an absolute flawless game? Did they play an absolute flawless game on Sunday, on Easter Sunday, to where there's nothing to fix? And head coach Rod Brindamore just runs them right back out there. And we don't worry about anything when it comes to lineups. We don't worry about anything when it comes to defensive pairings. We don't worry about anything when it comes to goaltending, because those are always the three questions that come up during the Stanley Cup Finals. It's whether or not those line combinations are in play, whether you need to make quick adjustments, but it always depends on that game one. It's always about the game one and how well a team executes on the ice. And for the Carolina Hurricanes, it was a full set of execution. There's no doubt about it. The first goal, Jalen Chatfield, the unsung hero, right? Unsung heroes are how teams get built in the postseason. Now, would you want to make it a Sebastian Aho goal? Would you want to make it a Seth Jarvis one-timer from the point? It won't really matter where it comes from as long as you get that first one on the board. You get the heroics from Logan Stankoven, not just one, but 2 goals from the guy that you wanted to cheer for the most. You wanted to make sure that Logan Stankoven was the guy that was nailing things for you, that was executing and being, again, the unsung hero, which is what the playoffs are all about. And let's be honest, Andrei Svechnikov empty net goal towards the end of that hockey game was just some sweet icing on the cake. So as you go back and you look back and you run around and you try to figure out exactly what this team needs to fix, you go, is there anything truly for Rod Brind'Amour to fix? And the answer might be a simple no. The answer might be as simple as the nose on your face. When you think about the Carolina Hurricanes and the execution on the ice, when you think about the goaltending situation, whether it's Freddie Anderson or Pyotr Kochetkov, the question marks just aren't there. It's always either Sharpie period or it's exclamation points based on the effort of this team in that game 1 on Easter Sunday. And now you've got to push forward, and you've got to figure out if that same execution will work for you in a game 2, and the answer might simply be yes. It might be a complete overthinking of what you need to do in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It might be a complete what in the world is going on with this team, or it could be just as simple as rolling them right back out there on the ice, sounding the siren, and striking up the Scorpions, rock you like a hurricane. Am I right, boys, or am I wrong?
You are right.
Yeah, you got it that correct.
Can you hear? All right, and you can hear
look
us.
at that. Let's
Of course.
I just threw to you. I just threw to you, and I could hear you fine. Wonderful.
You know, here's the thing, Paul. I hope the start of the Canes game is not the start that we've had on this broadcast so far.
What are you talking about? I'm the official the drive siren sounder. Let's just call it that. We're well underway. We're 8 minutes past the hour. I've sounded the siren, and you guys are now ready to take the ice. How about that?
Thank you very much, Paul.
All right.
You know, that is the maybe the definition of what game 1 was, right? Which was you needed everybody to have that kind of performance. You needed all 4 lines. You needed everyone on the blue line. You needed Freddie to have a good day. You needed the, selflessness of someone like Jankowski to sit out and not become a distraction. There was everybody on deck for the Canes, and they all played excellently, as we just heard in spurts here with our connection getting solidified from Paul Ihander and Graham Hill. Graham Hill back at the studio keeping us up and running. He'll be with us for the entirety of the show. Dennis Cox outside the Lenovo Center with me, Tim Donnelly, here for The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan, ahead of Game 2, Canes Ducks. Canes in the first round with a 1-0 lead after really dominating Game 1. And you know, let's really flex our equipment muscles here and try to play a clip. Let's see how in rhythm we've gotten in the last few minutes here. Rod Brind'Amour yesterday spoke to the Game 1 success having to do with the mental and physical breaks. They needed it all. Okay, all right. I thought it was playing. We couldn't hear it. You know what? We don't need to hear from Rod. I'll just tell you that yes, the Canes played exceptional, right? Yes, they did what they needed to do to get the win, but also in hockey, there's such thing. I mean, how many times have we heard it, right? The puck luck. You needed to stay locked in. You needed to deal with the uncontrollables, and they did that. And that's what a lot of tonight comes down to. Right, it comes down to you don't start with a lead because you won Game 1. Right, it's not a cumulative score in a 7-game series. You don't get spotted 3 goals. You have to go out and do it again. Let's hear from Rod Brind'Amour right here, real quickly, on the success of Game 1.
The obvious thing is the injuries, so that's the physical stuff that you see. But the mental grind that goes into playing is, I think, the hardest part. I think your body, you can play every night if you had to. It's just, can you play hard enough every night? And that's where your mental preparation comes in, your willingness to dig in all the time. I mean, that asks a lot of you. So I think guys, when they get those breaks, that's what they're referring to. It's like, it's not so much the workout, the physical part. It's, okay, there's a way you have to do it, and that's the mental stuff.
That's the sound of Rod Brendamore's voice yesterday talking to the media between Game 1 and Game 2. Game 2 scheduled for here at the Lenovo Center in about 3 hours. We'll be with you live out on the plaza until 5. Pass things off to Adam Storm watch for the puck drop, Mike Niscalco and Trip Tracy right here on 99.9 The Fan. One of the keys for tonight's game, as is the key in darn near every hockey game, but definitely when you're is special teams. What happens when you have the man advantage? So we're going to plan when we come back after this break on the man advantage ourselves.
Yeah,
it's going to be Dennis, myself, and the get Walt team reporter, Canes team reporter out here with us. That's coming up next here on the Drive.
Let's go! It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Aho now to Jarvis. Jarvis, go get the Jarvis goal!
Let's go, Canes!
The Chetkov stop. It's on the goal line behind him. He does a snow angel in the paint.
Go, Canes!
Playoff hockey in Raleigh is something that you can't describe, and it's because of you. So we want to be here.
The Canes' road to the Stanley Cup runs through us. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
Hello, I'm John Heister for John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Arena. And you know, people are asking us, how are you selling so many cars all of a sudden? Well, did you know that the Beltline has opened up the outer loop? We're only 28 minutes from Knightdale. We're only 19 minutes from Clayton and 15 minutes from Apex. We're now the most convenient Chevrolet dealership to reach in the Triangle. It's just one more reason to get off your keister and come to Heister.
Now at John Heister Chevrolet, get up to $13,000 off a new 2025 Chevrolet Silverado 1500. Together, let's drive.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at select Target stores and all Super Target stores.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50. Add any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
Attention passengers, we've reached 10,000 feet and internet is now available for purchase.
I just paid hundreds for this flight, and you can't even throw in internet? I'll just take the free pretzels.
Sorry, but I do have snack boxes for sale.
I'm just gonna sleep.
In that case, we are selling pillows and blankets as well.
I'll just breathe. That's free, right?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, JOEQ. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Teams win the draw. Back Chatfield, they score! Traffic out front, but Chatfield was ready to let it go.
We haven't answered one of the questions we asked a whole bunch of times leading into the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Canes did flip the switch for the postseason. And that is lovely. That is just lovely to see. We asked it on this show. I was a guest on a podcast on Saturday. They were asking quite a bit about how the Canes season ended, right? The obviously the last couple of games, but they were playing the AHL guys. It wasn't the goalies had kind of letting a grasp slip a little bit on their play.
2-7 finish in the month of April. You're thinking, oh, this isn't ideal.
Well, it wasn't ideal, but you also kind of had a little bit of logic that was helping you keep the demons at bay, right? The intrusive thoughts. You just kept saying, like, well, they locked in their postseason, or they were playing for nothing.
Sure. I mean, look at what the Caps did after they locked in their playoff season.
That's not them, right? They played.
I've heard him say that a couple times.
Yourself into it. How quickly were those fears erased?
Yeah.
Jalen Chatfield scored in the first 3 minutes. The shot total was lopsided by 6 minutes into the game? It was 9-2,
50-30 in total.
Yeah, and that's with the Devils getting a bunch of shots off late in the game. At one point, it was 36-7 or something, and I'm only exaggerating a little bit. It was from the jump. It was a different looking team than we had seen in probably the last 2 weeks of the regular season, which kind of makes us retroactively believe our persuasive arguments when we were going, they don't care. They're resting. They already have it locked in. There's nothing to play for it. It's now I'm going back to me of 2 weeks ago and going oh, you were right.
Yeah.
Because they were shot out of a cannon. They played really well right out the gate, which bodes well for them. Right? It bodes well for them being a team that gets it, that senses the moment, that understands when to empty the tank and when to conserve. Rod Brindamore was asked after the game, this is the head coach, obviously, on if the win was justification for how they've been playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like we talked about before, there's always that you worry that maybe you come out a little sluggish or, whatever, but obviously that wasn't the case. So, and we were healthy, healthy group, so I mean, it was a calculated risk maybe, but obviously, at least after game one, that was the right decision.
This might be, and it's the most annoying answer in the world, might be proof that there is a it depends answer. Right? The NFL draft is coming up on Thursday, right? That's when it gets started. And every year, there's a team that has wrapped up the number one seed or can't get the number one seed, and they know their matchup and they know if they're home or away, and they're playing for nothing the last week. And the question becomes, do you rest your starter? Him that, makes a game like game one possible where he just fits in with the Canes and scores 2 and everybody loves him.
Rod Brindamore called it the safety blanket spot in the lineup, playing alongside Jordan Staal and Jordan Martinook. You got two guys who, under the psychology of Rod Brindamore, do things right all the time. And I don't mean that to discredit, what they do by any means. How Rod Brindamore wants to do it, Jordan Staal and Jordan Martinook are doing it all the time, every time. So you put a guy in a position to skate alongside those two, especially at even strength, they're in a pretty good spot right off the bat, right? You know that they're going to be working down low below the line, as we saw that led to Stankoven's first goal. It's Jordan Martinook getting the puck deep, and then it winds up out in front. But we've also seen guys in that position. I think about Nino Niederreiter when he was here, a couple years ago. He had several 20-goal seasons playing in that position. So you can have a guy who's a goal scorer like Logan Stankoven, like Nino Niederreiter, or you can also go with another identity line guy like William Carrier or stick someone else there. So, no position is easy to have success in this Carolina Hurricanes lineup, but I do think that that's one of the easier positions to be in within the lineup, all things considered.
The other new guy, maybe a more difficult situation, Taylor Hall, is tasked with Kokiniemi in the middle, Svech, and he's kind of tasked with dragging them up a level, which absolutely happened in game one. What does he do to two guys that we're very familiar with but are also kind of on the frustrating side of things occasionally?
Yeah, listen, as much as Rod Brind'Amour doesn't like to number his lines, that's a top 6 role. And when you're in a top 6 role, you're expected to contribute. We know he plays on the power play as well. What Rod Brind'Amour likes about Taylor Hall is that he's a former league MVP, but he's just kind of come into this locker room and said, okay, I'll do things your way. I'm just a guy. I don't need to be the guy. We talk about egos all the time, and some guys want to come in and do things their way. They don't fit with the system. Taylor Hall's not been that. He does have that responsibility to produce and, like you said, elevate Jesperi Kotkaniemi and Andrei Svechnikov, both at periods of time who we've discussed needing more out of them. You need your big dogs to be your big dogs this time of year, but I think Taylor Hall's just done such a good job of coming into a somewhat more difficult type system to play and say, yep, I'm going to do it your way, and we're going to try and find success with that, and I think so far they have.
He has been willing to play a role. He also, a few times a game, I say almost out loud to anyone around me, oh yeah, he was the MVP. Because he just makes a play that you don't see coming, or a particular touch, and you just go, oh, he was the league MVP, wasn't he? And that has to be almost comforting for the two guys we talked about, who, due to their physical abilities and what they were as prospects and where they were drafted, they always feel like they have the weight of the world on their shoulders. Taylor Hall is able to say, well, yeah, I put the weight on my shoulders. You guys just go be big straight-line players, and we'll be all right.
1,000%. What a beautiful pass to Logan Stankoven for his third goal. I mean, how many guys are making that across ice, right? Especially right to the tape. Exactly. And it was almost like it looked easy to him, the way he brought that about. You're absolutely correct in saying that. I'm sure it is nice for Jesperi Kotkaniemi and Andrei Svechnikov to have another guy who they don't feel like they're responsible for elevating, that everybody wants to pull the rope the same way on that line. And they've had success so far. Hopefully there's more in store tonight.
Walt Ruff, Canes team reporter, joining us outside the Lenovo Center. The DJ's getting started. The atmosphere is starting to grow. Playoff hockey, so you know the atmosphere is going to be insane. There might be a few conversations here about a gentleman by the name of Alexander Nikishin. I think a lot of Canes fans would have loved to have seen him in the home games. They're going to go on the road for 2. Will he, in a perfect world, be making his debut before the next time we see the Canes? Because we're not expecting any lineup changes today. For those who are just tuning in, Freddie in net, Jankowski still the healthy extra, and as will Alexander Nikishin. Not expecting him to make his debut.
Well, perfect world, and I know people aren't going to like this answer. No, because if Alexander Nikishin's getting in the lineup, that probably means somebody's gotten hurt, right? So I don't think Rod Brind'Amour wants to play with it too much. I think you'd rather overbake a guy than throw him in and put him in a position where he's not really able to have success off the bat. Do I think he could have success right off the bat? Absolutely. He's a talented player, but he's only now had 1 full practice and a morning skate with the team. So you got
but he was in the middle of stretching. That's worth a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, he was.
I'm trying to talk it into existence. Rod Brind'Amour debuted in the postseason, Game 5, scored a goal on his first shot. If this one goes 5, home first shot, I'm just the synergy, and then, of course, sometime 20-some-odd years into the future, Nikishin's coaching, his son scoring his first goal near the end of the regular season. It all happens. History repeats itself, right?
You never know who you're going to need, right? I mean, look at this team last season during the postseason. Nobody expected Brett Pesce to go down and fracture his ankle or whatever it wound up being. They needed Tony DeAngelo on an every-night basis. We've seen, I think about a guy like Mackenzie McEachern a couple playoff runs ago. Didn't play during the regular season at all, was in the American League, has to come up, has success in the postseason. So who knows how this is going to go, but I think it's nice that you have a guy like that, waiting in the wings.
Is there any concern about, first of all, the Devils? Jack Hughes already out. His brother goes down. Dylan not expected to be in. A couple other guys banged up. Is there any concern that, especially if it's a 2-0, 2-1 game early, that the Devils really try to frustrate? We saw, I've been calling it a baseball swing from the goalie. It was intercepted by a Devils defenseman, but it was intended for Svech. There was some tripping. There was some 3 seconds left, and Hall's taken a cross check. How does the Canes, in an atmosphere like this, do you prepare for that? Do you discuss it, or is it just something that you trust the veteran team to deal with?
Dmitry Orlov kind of discussed that this morning. He said you just got to stay level-headed. You got to be ready for anything, but on the other side, no question about it, the Devils are playing from behind the 8 ball. They're missing some of their stars now, some key players. You look at some of the guys who are on expiring contracts. There's guys playing for jobs next year. You want to make your presence felt. You are doing anything to get noticed by either the coaching staff in a positive way or management, especially when you're already depleted. That means guys are getting more elevated roles. So they're going to be bringing the jump tonight. And then at a certain point, you play a little bit more freely because you know that you've kind of got the deck stacked against you. So I do think that the Devils, will come out with some jump tonight, and we'll see what that gets them.
Walt Ruff, Canes team reporter, goaltending. Freddie was solid in game one. The goal in the third, not the third goal. He only gave up one of them. You can debate the softness of it, but it's one in a game that you win handily. He's getting back-to-back starts for the first time this season. What are the expectations for Freddie in net?
Well, the expectation is that he plays the same way in game one, and if you're only giving up one goal, that's a pretty darn good job, right? I mean, Nico Hischier, former number 1 overall pick, he's got a pretty darn good shot, so sometimes those are going to get by you.
Not a ton of action
early,
which you could argue is a mental challenge, but also you could argue be ready. Like there's context to everything, and in a lot of ways, the goalie's as good as the guy in front of him.
Yeah, exactly that. And of course, there's going to be those more eyeballs because at no point this season did Freddie Andersen play back-to-back games. Can't put the cart before the horse here, but what happens for Game 3? Do you go to him again if you win? Who knows? It's a gamble.
Friday's a long way away.
Yeah, Friday sure is a long ways away from here. We're going to be
Friday
in the
night, too.
Yeah, 8 p.m.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to talk about atypical start times. That we don't see that all too often, but
I'm just glad they are allowed to play in prime time.
Yeah, some
not the Canes
some
team
interesting ones in this
joke.
series. But hey, as long as the Canes take care of business tonight, I think everyone's going to be feeling good come Friday, no matter the time.
Walt, I'm not sure if you remember this from our playoff run last year out here on the plaza, but on game days we play a game with our listeners, and we will again at 4:33, where we take first goal score predictions. It's who are you feeling finds the net first for the Canes tonight?
All right. Well, first of all, how many people got Jalen Chatfield in the first period right, if anybody, on Sunday?
None.
I did. I'm kidding. I didn't.
I was like, what?
I've picked Chatfield and probably too much, and I didn't in game one. But I will say I hit Kokaniemi in game 82.
Okay, yeah, well, that seems to be a staple. I think he scored every year in Game 82 now with the
team. You're not supposed to give away my tricks here.
Sorry, cut that part out.
They didn't know that one was a guarantee.
But let's stick on the blue line tonight. And you know what? Let's go with Jalen Chatfield's defensive partner, Dmitry Orlov. Why not?
He was aggressive.
Why not? Yeah. He needs to be good. I don't know. We can talk about Nikishin left, right, and center, whether he knows that there's footsteps coming behind him or not. Dmitry Orlov was good in Game 1. He didn't have the season he wanted. Let's see him get one tonight in the first period.
There is a Russian left side defenseman that would pair pretty well with Chatfield in my mind, kind of waiting in the wings. So yeah, I'd say Orlov wants to play well, as if he wouldn't always. Of course he wants to play well. Walt, appreciate you as always.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate you.
Enjoy the game, and hopefully we're able to do this again soon.
Love to.
There you go. Walt Ruff, Canes team reporter. Again, follow him on Twitter, @WaltRuff, for all the latest about and from the Canes. We'll take a break. When we come back, we have even more Canes.
Miller Lending.
Oh, actually, right now. Walt, sorry. You can get out of here because I got to pass some things along. Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending, and of course that means my guy, Gordon Miller. Talk about unpredictable, right? We've dealt with some unpredictable stuff today. Hockey teams in the postseason, you have to deal with the unpredictable. I've got something that might be the least predictable of all time. Mortgage rates, interest rates, right? They go up, they go down. Sometimes you can point to a reason. Sometimes it doesn't feel like you can. Either way, you have to be prepared, right? If rates go down, you want to be able to capitalize on it. Refinance with a no closing cost loan, right? Rates drop, get that lower monthly payment, no costs, no fees, no money out of your pocket. That's a no cost loan. Meanwhile, if rates go up, you want to have locked in your rate yesterday, right? Without fear. And that's where the no closing cost loan comes in again. It's really protecting you against the volatility of the market, giving you the flexibility, the adaptability to have the best chance to capitalize and put yourself in the best situation when it comes to your mortgage. So give them a call, Miller Lending, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or you can visit them online, millerlending.com. Once again, that's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. We're going to fill the empty chair Once again, when we come back, Doug Warf, president of the Carolina Hurricanes and the Lenovo Center, which is where we are for the day, will be joining us in addition to more Canes talk. Stick around.
Stitches, itches, aches, and pains. Strep and sinus, minor sprains. Pink eye, earaches, fever, flu. Virtual visits, physicals too. At WakeMed MyCare 365, we offer both walk-in primary care and urgent care. So find the MyCare location nearest you at wakemed.org. Walk right in, and for just about anything from asthma, rashes, and examinations to x-rays, labs, and vaccinations, make MyCare your care.
Fun awaits at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington, picking out your new Jeep from all the amazing deals. How about a 2024 Jeep Wrangler for 20% off? That's up to $15,000 off. Prefer a new 2024 Jeep Grand Wagoneer? Have fun choosing because they are all now $25,000 off at John Heister. See dealer for full details. Go anywhere, do anything in your new Jeep. For best selection, get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington today.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun fried whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
The Body Armor State Games are coming to Greensboro this June. Registration is open to athletes of all ages and skill levels in 20 different sports. The Body Armor State Games feature 11,000 athletes and 600 teams. Don't miss out on North Carolina's largest sports festival of the year. Visit bodyarmorstategames.org today. The Body Armor State Games are proud to partner with Truist, Lowe's Foods, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. T&Cs apply.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Stankoven with a drive. He scores! Martinup comes up with a loose puck. He feeds the rookie and Logan Stankoven's first goal in the playoffs for the Canes.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan from live outside. It's the room where it happens. It's the arena where it happens.
Yes.
It's the Lenovo Center, home of the Carolina Hurricanes and the site for Game 2 tonight between the Carolina Hurricanes and the New Jersey Devils.
Come see us. We're on the plaza between Carter Finley and Lenovo. We actually have QR codes on our tent. Scan the QR codes on our tent. You can potentially win. And that's where you enter to win a Seth Jarvis signed puck.
Well, we'll give you a few motivations. You can scan the QR codes, potentially win, as Dennis just said, a Seth Jarvis signed puck. I know Seth Jarvis is beloved by all.
I mean, who doesn't?
We actually need to start some kind of campaign to get him the national recognition he deserves. I saw an ESPN list where they had him as the 39th best player in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
They're dumb.
I'm never
I
mind.
said it.
I'm agreeing with you, but I just don't have time to illustrate all of the ways. So all I can tell you is we have a Seth Jarvis signed puck that you can win. You have to show up here at our tent right on the plaza between Carter Finley Stadium and the Lenovo Center. If you scan the QR codes in the corner of the tent, you'll be entered to win a Seth Jarvis signed puck. And also, you can let us know your first goal scorer predictions for bragging rights, right? We'll take the callers on air for the official contestants that could potentially win the Apex Racing Lab gift certificate about an hour from now. So have your dialing fingers ready for that. But if you just want to stop out and make a prediction for bragging rights, we'd love to hear from you. We'll take your name down and give you your credit if you get it right. Dennis, before we dive further into the game, and we do have Doug Warf, president of the Carolina Hurricanes, and the Lenovo Center, which is ironic because that's where we are, joining us here outside the arena in a little bit. No expected changes for the Canes to the lineup.
That's correct.
Which means, as you just heard me discussing with Walt Ruff, Freddie's back in net. This is the first time all season that he will be in net for back-to-back games.
I guess technically 3 straight because he did start the final game of the season against Ottawa.
Okay.
So really it's 3 straight starts.
Look at that. 3 straight for Freddie. Obviously 2 in the postseason. It is a unique situation where you don't have a goalie that has been given like the traditional goalie one workload at really any point in the season. But also, is that the secret sauce, right? Freddie in his Canes career has had quite a bit of fans going like, maybe didn't step everything up in the postseason the way you'd like to. Is the key to just do everything you can to keep him fresh, not ask him to go heavy load as far as workload in the regular season, and then once you get to the postseason, everything you can to end series early and get days off.
I mean, that was the thought last year, right? That was the thought last season because he started when he came back from his blood clot issue. He and Kochetkov, they just split. Everything was a split from there on out. It's when he had all those consecutive starts in a row when we really finally started to see him wear down. Now, Kochetkov did start that one game against the New York Rangers at Game 5, but that's always been the question. Even a couple years ago when they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, in that second-round series, Freddie didn't play in that second-round series. That was a lot of Antti Ranta in that second-round series. And even Kochetkov as well, because remember, Kochetkov had picking fights there with Brad Marchand of the Boston Bruins in that first-round series. So, I don't know. Maybe the secret sauce is Rob Brind'Amour finding opportunities to put Kochetkov on the ice. Now, the question is, do you want Kochetkov at home or do you want Kochetkov on the road? Because if you want him to play at home as much as possible, this would have been the game to start him. Now, I also understand there's the mindset of on Game 4, it's a shorter turnaround, 8 o'clock p.m. Friday night start time, 3:30 start time on Sunday. If you're up 3-0 in the series, do you put Kochetkov in there? Like, again, those are all questions you kind of have to play by ear. If you're going to ask Freddie, hey, do you want to go? He's going to say yes.
Absolutely.
Of course he's going to say yes.
If you're going to ask Piotr, does he want to go? He's going to give you colorful language that ends with a yes.
Yeah, it does.
But there, a couple horns from the post-game speeches for Rod. But here's the other thing about like kind of a lineup update, right? The Canes going from Game 1, which they played great, into Game 2, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Same lineup.
Yeah.
No getting Jankowski into the lineup. No Alexander Nikishin bombs. Like, oh, look at this, he's in. Like they're riding from Game 1 to Game 2. Same guy in net. The Devils, through no choice of their own, are having to shake some things up.
They have to.
Already without one Hughes, Luke Hughes goes down. Not expected in this one. Brendan Dillon, also not expected in this one.
And already without Jonas Siegenthaler as well. So they're out of 3 of their top 6 defensemen.
So here's where the my brain like logically goes to, right? When you start losing blue liners, you got to look towards the traditional non-scoring lines because they're going to be the ones facing the guys with 4 appearances this year, 20-something appearances this year. Aho, Jarvis, they can get theirs against anyone, but is this an opportunity for a Roslovic, for somebody to take advantage of inexperience that they're matched up with the expectation that the Devils are going to do everything they possibly can to get their traditional NHL defensemen on the ice when the top 6 forwards for the Canes are on the ice?
When the Canes are running their system at their best, you see other teams offsides a lot when trying to enter the zone because there's no space for them to operate, and they're icing the puck a bunch. So if you have a fourth line on fourth line matchup, generally when there's fourth line matchups out there, you get a third defensive pair out there. If that fourth line of Roslovic, Robinson, who else can be playing on the fourth line tonight? It's going to be William Carrier. If those three guys are on the ice, maintain and sustain pressure, and you see New Jersey icing the puck, guess who's fresh coming off the ice against a third defensive pair on the fourth line? It's Aho, it's Jarvis, it's Blake, it's Slavin, it's Burns. Like, that's who's coming over the bench next. And that's when the Carolina Hurricanes have to capitalize on those matchups. They wear that third defensive pair down, get them caught to the point where they're icing the puck, and then you bring in fresh guys, your top 6 guys onto the ice, top 6 forwards. That's where Carolina can really take advantage of those opportunities. And then it also comes down to win that face-off as well. And that's where they really can just break the heart and spirit and just really the backs of the New Jersey Devils doing that.
It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. That voice you heard, Dennis Cox. We are live outside the Lenovo Center, where there's nothing like the energy around playoff hockey. It's rising and rising. Raise up, if you will.
Yeah.
It's raising up, if you will, here outside the Lenovo Center, the home of the Canes. Ahead of Game 2, Canes took the first handily earlier this week, looking to go up 2-0 over the New Jersey Devils, who you just heard us describe. We brought up some of the injuries, right? The Devils are licking their wounds a little bit, and it's an opportunity for the Canes to take a commanding lead.
I'm sure Sheldon Keefe is going to look at his third defensive pair and not put them in as much as possible, try to keep those guys as protected. But with home ice, Carolina gets that last line change. And that's where, again, where Rob Brind'Amour really has the advantage. If I'm Carolina and I see that Sheldon Keefe, the head coach of the New Jersey Devils, is leaning on those top 2 defensive pairs, that include Brett Pesce, that include Dougie Hamilton, 2 former Canes, I'm wearing those guys down today. I'm wearing those guys down, not just for today, but they got to be ready to go in Game 3 and in Game 4. That's where you really can pay dividends in the long run, is when you can wear down those top 4 defensemen tonight.
Now, obviously, and you're never going to hear me downplay Aho, Jarvis, right there. They're the dudes, right?
Yeah.
And you throw Jackson Blake up there, the rookie. They're the dudes. I also think it's an opportunity for that second line, Hall, Kokoniemi, Svech. They're big. They're fast, they're strong, and if you get a tired defenseman out there with those guys, they should be able to physically take advantage.
If you look at advanced numbers from Game 1, that was Carolina's best line in terms of scoring chances and expected goals, but also expected goals against was the least of all the forward lines for the Carolina Hurricanes on Sunday. It was the Hall, Kokoniemi, Svechnikov line. That was actually their best line the other day.
And here he is. We teased him earlier, and now he is joining us outside of the Lenovo Center. He is the president of the Carolina Hurricanes and the Lenovo Center. Doug Warf joining us here, the man behind all of this. Doug, first of all, thank you for venturing out here into the tailgate weather, right? You need to have the tailgate outfit and then some layers to throw on when you go inside. I love hockey tailgate weather.
This is a unique tailgate outfit for me, Tim. Thanks for having me on. I don't recommend a suit. Yeah, I don't recommend this to many folks. But yeah, it's always a tough thing. When I was a fan, trying to figure out how you tailgate and then go inside was always the challenge.
Yeah, you got to layer up. But speaking of that, right, you had the afternoon game on Sunday. You have the 6 o'clock game today. I think it's fair to say if we could draft scheduled dates and times, those aren't the ones you're going to. Not number one on the big board.
I think we would have been the champion, right? We would have been picking last if we would have chosen those. But I've been joking. The league just knows that our fans are that good. They're coming no matter what time it is.
That was going to be my question. Like, how, I don't even want to say pleasantly surprised, but just how pleased are you with the fact that you weren't dealt the best maybe schedule and the fans showed up and lit the place up anyway?
I've kind of promised to not be surprised by Caniacs anymore because they're that good, but I will admit that Game 1 even caught me off guard. It was Easter Sunday, 3 p.m., but people came in and they were ready, man. That entry, that was fantastic. And then obviously you saw the guys feed off of it.
Doug Warf, the president of the Carolina Hurricanes and the Lenovo Center, joining us outside the Lenovo Center ahead of Game 2 between the Canes and the Devils. I have to give you credit. The finding the pucks, that is a genius move to turn an afternoon Easter game into something a little bit more fun and turn maybe the bummer into an awesome deal. So credit to you. I saw you were tweeting like your whole thought process. Like, should I do this? I'm going to do this. And you did it, and I thought it was genius.
I don't know about genius, but Chris Greenlee and I, we were kicking around ideas, and we're trying to make it fun, especially both of these games. You know, allowing people in the parking lots early today, the pucks on Easter. How do you lean into it, right? How do you make the lemonade? And I think our fans got around it. I wish we had more pucks to find because they were gone in like the first 5 minutes, but it was fun.
Hide them better, right? That's the move.
That is the key. And the Easter Bunny was a big deal. The Easter Bunny was as popular as anybody in the building on Sunday, so it was cool.
So how do you balance, by the way, that's Doug Warf, president of the Hurricanes and Lenovo Center, joining us right here outside Lenovo. How do you balance out with fan entertainment, keeping them engaged outside of what's actually on the ice itself? Because let's be honest, there is dead time. You have intermissions.
Sure.
You have TV stoppages. There's stuff before the games. How do you balance that out to make
all
sure
the
that
reviews
there's
on how dirty was that by the other team?
Exactly.
It takes time. There's things going on.
Yeah, you know, the playoffs are good and bad, right? They're good because everybody's kind of locked in. They're tougher because you can't have any on-ice activity.
Okay.
And two, there's a little bit more of a serious nature to it, so you kind of have to balance some things that you don't always balance in the regular season. But I think our team does a great job of it. And I always feel like our biggest job is getting the game started right. I thought the opening videos and especially the Q Light show that we kicked off with on Sunday really set the tone. And I feel like that's kind of like if we can get that step, then it kind of builds from there.
Doug Warf, president of the Carolina Hurricanes, here with us on 99.9 The Fan and the Siren Sounders.
Yes.
Jesper Fast, great choice, right?
Yeah.
With the history with the Devils, all makes sense. Can we get like just 5 minutes with the newbies? Will Wade, I'm thinking he just needed a little bit more oomph there, a little bit more energy.
I'll
not
take
sure
that
he
on
was
coaching. You know, I met him before, and I should have coached him up a little bit better.
All right.
I'll take that one.
We can take that off your plate if you want to. Just send him our way. We'll give him tips.
I need to do that. As a Wolfpack alum, I let him down. But he was a great guy, and he's a great sport about it, which was good.
And a great choice, right? Sharing the building, new, buzzworthy, out there making headlines.
And it's a tough process because two of the three folks we had for tonight were in flux the entire time, so you never know. So trying to nail these down can be a little bit of a challenge. We got some good stuff tonight, too, though.
Have they been nailed down?
One guy's going to help us raise up.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Okay.
And we're intentionally not naming names now?
You know, I don't even know what's out there, so I don't want to spoil it for my team.
Okay.
But one guy will really help us raise up. That's how we're going to get started tonight.
Okay.
My antennas are tingling on that. So
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to lay it up there for you.
All right, there
we
you go.
We got a number of cool people who will be in the building tonight. Not all of them wanted to do the siren.
Okay. But they're going to help you.
So that's also a piece that we're always trying to balance too. But it is fun. The amount of odd emails and texts I'll get of, hey, this guy wants to come to the game tonight. You know, how do we get him in? So it's a cool time of year.
I'm sure. Playoff hockey, the hottest ticket in town. And speaking of another thing that I'm sure you've gotten emails about, how aware were you that you needed to study immigration law when you were taking over the job title and everything, kind of overlooking the Carolina Hurricanes?
Thanksgively,
we're talking Alexander Nikishin, obviously.
I knew where you were going. I thought that's where you were going.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we have some very smart people on our team, and we have a couple of attorneys on the team who are very versed in what we needed to do. But, it was still a really cool process to see of how we had to send people, how challenging it was on him. And then when he got here, you'd think he'd be tired, he'd be out of it. He was locked in, he was ready to go. He's been a great sport, so we're excited to have him in Raleigh.
Speaking of being coached up before an event or a meeting, whoever taught him "I am ready" as the English phrase that's going to be his crutch, that's genius, because it kind of, from everything we've read about him, and admittedly translated interviews aren't always the best for providing context. He seems like a rink rat, right? Like he wants to be out there, he wants to be playing, and "I am ready."
It's easy, right? You lean on that
hockey.
whenever. Yeah.
I am ready. I know hockey. I'm like, there you go. Rod Brindamore is going to fall in love with this guy in 6
Learn,
words.
thank you very much, and he's done, right? He's out.
And 200-foot hockey and a few other things just that the Canes will ask, but he's there.
And I think if you guys saw it, Kochetkov serving as a little bit of his translator the other day, how that has come a full circle in 2 years. I think you'll see that in the room. There's a really good support system in the room, so I think he's going to fit right in.
So with new players coming in like Nikishin, obviously coming from overseas, we have obviously established names with Kochetkov, Svechnikov, and even other guys like Seth Jarvis, Sebastian Aho. When you have a new guy that comes in like Nikishin that a lot of diehard Canes fans really want to see a lot more of, how do you as an organization get their name and face out there for the general public outside of obviously people that may listen to us, but for the general public to know who these guys more off the ice?
Yeah.
Especially guys like Jarvis and Aho and Nikishin, whoever it might be.
And I'll just build off that. I've watched so much grainy KHL footage of him, and then you guys post the video of him walking into the Lenovo Center, and I was like, I'm not sure I knew what his face was.
Right?
Because
there he is.
He's been this idea before he was a person. Like, what's the process of getting him out there to the public?
And that one's even a little tougher. Usually if somebody's coming up in our system or in the Canadian or American minors, we've got access to the footage that we know we can use. The KHL is not always as easy. So there is some storytelling we've had to do. And I think there's a part of that where you're balancing it because you also don't want to put too many expectations on a young guy who's trying to come in and fit in the lineup. I think he's going to do that when he does, whenever that is. I think the fans are going to love watching him, but you try to balance that factor of, hey, we're excited to have him. He's a big deal, but at the same time, he's a 23-year-old acclimating to the U.S. trying to fit into a team. So,
I mean, because we all know how great Seth Jarvis is, but I still think that the hockey world as a whole doesn't fully understand, A, how good that guy is, but also just how fun that dude is.
Well, I thought it was fantastic that Amazon Prime wanted to pick him up for their show. You know, he's a great personality, to your point, great player, but he's what we need in players in the league. For a long time, I think guys were a little nervous to show that personality because we have some really good personalities in the room.
You do.
I think that's a nice thing that's kind of evolved over the last 10 years in the league, and I think social media has helped to allow guys to show their personalities themselves instead of it kind of being forced from the team. But Seth has been at the forefront of that and has done a hell of a job with it.
What? Just tell us what we need to do, because as awesome as it was during Four Nations when everyone else discovered Jacob Slavin, I was going like, I don't want everyone to have to wait that long to figure out that Seth Jarvis is a monster, right? And he's one of the best two-way forwards in the league. So if there's anything we can do to get Jarvis to the nation, let us know.
Well, I think he's doing it himself right now, which is good. But you guys keep hyping him up.
There you go.
I am happy for you to do that now that Eric Tulsky and Tom Dundon and the crew. Now that we've got him signed.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to wait till that happens, but this has been a perfect year for him. And I think, this playoff season is a great chance for him to showcase that to the world. He, Aho, and Blake have looked great. And Blake's another guy who we were, a little cautious with at the start of the year, but has been phenomenal all year.
So should we chill? Because I've been also praising Taylor Hall quite a bit. That second line was buzzing
don't
in game
chill.
one.
Yeah.
But the long-term contract isn't there, so should we wait and assume that once it comes, I can once it's signed?
That's not my world.
You're right. Dennis is pointing the giant NHL playoffs.
We did put him on the front of the building.
There it is.
So, but that's not my world. But I will say that we felt pretty good about it. I know there have been other people on the front of the building before, but he's fit in really well to the team, and he's got a lot of familiarity with some of the players on the team. So we've loved how he's fit in the locker room and in the lineup.
Last thing, every time we have a show on a game day, we do something called first goal scorer predictions. We get our listeners involved. They make their predictions. We have a good time with it. And then when we have guests, we give them the chance to join in the competition. First goal scorer, meaning player and period that it is scored in. Do you have a gut feeling, a vibe here on a player?
There's a lot of obvious calls.
There's nothing wrong with going chalk either. There's nothing wrong with going chalk.
I think my daughter's going to be in the house tonight.
Okay.
And she somewhat oddly is the leader of the KK fan club.
Okay.
So Kokatiemi first period goal is what I'm going to go with.
Do you want to give, again, this is just for fun, want to give any more specifics? Is it a rebound? Is it
I think Hall's going to feed him. So I'll take that. I'll have the Hall primary assist. I see him kind of behind the net, KK crash in the front. We get a nice greasy goal to start the game.
From your lips to the hockey god's ears. I think we'd all enjoy that one. Doug, we appreciate it. Enjoy the game, and Get out of the heat because you're like you said, you're out here in a suit,
black suit,
looking suave, but a little toasty out here.
Hey, Tim, thank you.
Once again,
Dennis,
that is
thanks, man.
Doug Warf, president of the Carolina Hurricanes and the Lenovo Center ahead of Game 2 tonight. We have football at 4 where we ask, can the Panthers learn something about the Canes? They're going to the playoffs every year. Stick around.
The NFL Draft. Start the clock. The picks will be in. With the first pick. It's NFL Draft Week.
This is football. Welcome to the big leagues.
The Carolina Panthers have pick number 8.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Insider reports and in-depth coverage all week long on 99.9 The Fan.
Let's give these people a show.
The Triangle Sports Leader.
Make your next tailgate more electric when you plug into a new Ford F-150 or Super Duty truck. Not only do they light up the scoreboard with outstanding payload and towing numbers, with available Pro Power on board, you can turn these Ford trucks into mobile generators to give your tailgate party an extra boost of energy. Visit your Carolina Ford dealer or buyfordnow.com for great offers and to learn more about F-150 and Super Duty. See Owner's Manual for important operating instructions.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked a homeowner in with an APR in the low 5s, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Listen up, Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. So let's do it again and get vaccinated. We're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults under 50. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com to schedule. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
They score!
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner, and increasing chance for showers and thunderstorms as we head closer to the evening commute and the evening. A high this afternoon of 83 degrees. It is a WRAL weather alert day. We have a level 1 risk for some isolated wind damage. Storms ending after midnight with a low of 65. Tomorrow we start with mainly clear skies. We'll see a high of 79, but evening thunderstorms are likely again.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 1,600 points at 39,186. This final hour of the drive is brought to you by Deep River Sport and Clays and Shooting School. Deep River wants you to come fight the clay invasion. Come shoot down clay targets at Deep River Sport and Clays and Shooting School. Visit deepriversportandclays.com.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This is an appropriate Football at 4 because we are currently sitting between the NC State Football Stadium and the Lenovo Center, where the Canes and Devils are going to be facing off for Game 2 of their first round and Stanley Cup playoff series.
Let's go.
Canes lead 1-0 after a dominant Game 1. They're going to try to do that again for Game 2. And in the interest of Football at 4, I'm going to bring up something that we haven't brought up in a long time. It used to be one of the more talked about kind of timeline things. But I actually think because the Panthers have like positive energy around them.
They do, which is odd.
People are reluctant to bring this up because it just paints the Panthers in such a bad light. But the Canes and the Panthers actually changed ownership at about the same time.
Yeah. It's like 4 or 5 months apart, roughly.
And since then, they've gone in opposite directions, right? The Canes, Rod Brindamore, obviously Don Waddell was involved under Tom Dundon, and now Eric Tulsky is the GM, have just built and built and built, and they've established a core, and they've gone to the playoffs 7 straight years, and they've built themselves into one of the more stable contenders in the league. The Panthers, on the other hand, got to a point where they were the worst team in the NFL and didn't own their first-round pick to draft first.
Yeah.
Like, that's about as bargain bottom dungeon as you can get.
One head coach for the Canes, Rob Brindamore. If you count interims, 7 for the Carolina Panthers, because you had Ron Rivera, then he gets let go. Perry Fuel took over. Then you have Matt Rule. He gets let go. Then Steve Wilkes takes over. Then you have Frank Wright come in. And then Chris Tabor took over. Now you're on Dave Canales.
I mean, they do turn pro coaches into college coaches.
Yeah, and like 3 GMs. You have Marty Herney, you had Scott Fitterer, now you have Dan Morgan.
So I say all of that to say this, right? Professional sports are a copycat industry, right? You're always looking for something someone else is doing, and is there a nugget you can grab and bring it into your organization to learn from them? So is there something the Panthers can learn from the Canes? Obviously, yes. There's an NFL draft coming up on Thursday. Probably a little late to start, messing with your draft plans. But I thought it'd be fun to kind of look at some similarities, look at what the Canes have done well. And, we could get into the nitty-gritty. We could say something along the lines of the Canes have kind of become known for not being as much of a stickler for size, right? Height, weight, measurables, right? That's how you end up with Seth Jarvis, picked at 13 in the first round, when it seems like if he's 6'2", probably would have been like the 6th pick in the first round, or the top 5, whatever it is. But the Canes weren't scared off by the fact that he's a little undersized. Bet on the player, bet on the talent. They have a dude that's now looking like one of the best two-way forwards in the entire NHL. Transition to Thursday's first round for the Panthers. They're picking 8th. Jalen Walker is a player that's been linked to the Panthers heavy. Many mock drafts, many insiders. The knock on him is he's a bit of a tweener size-wise, right? He's 240-something pounds, when if he were 265 as an edge rusher, he'd be a top 5 pick.
If he was built like Shamar Stewart, he might be a top 2 pick.
Is that something the Panthers can look at where they say, you know what, modern medicine's kind of crazy? Rules to protect players are a little bit better. Weightlifting regimens are a bit better. Maybe we can deal with a slightly smaller player if he brings all of the talent and all of the skill. And then who knows? 3, 4, 5 years from now, you're looking at having a Seth Jarvis edge rusher who still might not be the biggest dude in the world, but double-digit sacks, which would be the equivalent of like back-to-back 30-goal seasons.
And there might even be guys that might be a little undersized that you find in the 3rd round, the 4th round, but there's something about a measurable or something. The Canes like to use different advanced analytics about, okay, how can we find somebody that maybe matches that profile where there's maybe a little bit of a market inefficiency that we can exploit. This is why Carolina the Hurricanes drafts a lot of Russian players. This is why they draft, like you got, highly skilled guys that are really good skaters but might be a little bit undersized, but they still work. That's the thing where the Carolina Panthers have to find as well. Maybe there is an edge rusher that maybe didn't have the production, or maybe the arm length wasn't quite what it needed to be, or maybe it's a little undersized, but that 10-yard split Maybe he runs a 1.55 10-yard split, 1.55 seconds, and that's the get-off time that you need to be, hey, he can be a situational pass rusher for us. Maybe not every down player, but a situational player that we can use to our advantage that in other systems he wouldn't work.
Now, I am reluctant. That whole conversation I think makes a lot of sense, but I am a bit reluctant to do too much specific, like sport-specific comparisons across hockey and football. But what I'm not afraid to do is look at the, like, in theory, the big picture of the Canes, and I think the Panthers can learn the most there. Undoubtedly, during an NHL draft or during a trade, right, like the trade that sent Mikko Rantanen into Dallas and brought back picks and Logan Stankoven, it took about 2 seconds for analysts and those that knew more about Logan Stankoven to say, oh, that guy's a Cane.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, he'll fit right in with the Canes. That guy is a Carolina Hurricane if I've ever seen one. And
when the sentence is, that makes sense,
yep,
you know.
And to me, that's because, again, you can nitpick a bunch of different ways, but starting with the owner and Tom Dundon, they've built the Canes in a specific way. And it goes down through the front office, definitely to the coaching staff and into the culture of the locker room, where they want guys that, if you're a forward, you're not just out there as a trick shot artist. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to back check. You're going to have to play 200-foot hockey. If you're a blue liner, don't think you can get away just playing that side of the ice, right? You're going to have to press. You're going to have to hunt for your own shot at times. Like, there is a certain selflessness and effort that comes with being a Cane. And to me, it makes that identity extremely valuable, right? We just talked with Doug Warf about Taylor Hall coming in, right? And then we talked with Walt Ruff about Taylor Hall coming in and how he's a former MVP, and he showed up in Carolina going, no, I'm going to fit into what you guys do.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is because he knew what the Canes do, right? Yes. He showed up. He didn't have to go, all right, what do you guys – what's your deal here? He showed up with, I played against you. I know what you guys do. Try to do that with the Panthers. Try to do, oh, that guy's a Panther. What the heck does that mean?
We know what it used to mean.
True. In a positive sense. If somebody is saying it as a compliment, oh, that guy, man, he's going to fit in with the Carolina Panthers. What does that mean? And if you can't answer that, I know. Like, trust me, Dave Canales could give me a essay on what he wants that to mean.
Sure.
Because he's a guy that plans that sort of thing and talks about culture. But if you can't say what it is, not what you hope it is, that's an issue. And I think that's where the Panthers – and I'm not saying you need to draft all Boy Scouts, right? There's great – I think it's a baseball saying where it said you can't win a World Series with just milk drinkers.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to drink whiskey. I'm not saying you go get all Boy Scouts that are out there, hard work only, all that kind of stuff. But there is a certain cultural element of the Canes that is like you sense it when you're around the program as a fan, as a media member, or in any other capacity that I don't think quite has happened yet for the Panthers. They're trying. And I think you can do that in the draft. You can do that through free agency, and you can do that over time. But it's not quite there yet. And I think they can learn that from the Canes.
We see, like, for example, real quick, like the Carolina Panthers, guys that I think currently on the team that fit the identity of what they're trying to build. That's the Chuba Hubbard.
I was going to say Chuba Hubbard.
100% fits what they're trying to do. Obviously, Derek Brown fits 100% what they're trying to do. Those are like J.C. Horn.
Adam Thielen.
Thielen, absolutely. Those are like Jalen Coker. I think those are the kinds of guys that fit. Robert Hunt really fits into what they're trying to build and what they're trying to do. And he's bought into it as well. Mm-hmm. That's the key as well. It's like you can have guys that fit, but they have to buy into what you're trying to make as well. So the Panthers have the concept of what they want. They just got to continue to build around those guys.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. At 4:33, we are going to open up the phone lines for first goal scorer predictions.
Yeah, we are.
I asked for them on Twitter just for bragging rights, and as always, our listeners are coming through. I'm not going to read all the Twitter handles. Just know that if I read yours, you've been recognized. We don't have the time, quite frankly. But we have Jackson Blake, first period off a rebound. A Jarvis goal would feed families as far as what it would do to the crowd.
That's true, actually.
Hall on the power play. We have a Svetch prediction. Another Blake first-period power play. Stanky, Jarvis, Hall, an Aho one-timer. Roslovic, Jarvis. Somebody just sent in a GIF of Martinuk. I love this, and I'm not sure why this was flagged by Twitter, but at the bottom of all the comments it says, show additional replies, including those that may contain offensive content.
Okay.
And when I hit show, it's Orlov in the first, slap shot.
Hey, well, maybe it was a Jersey fan might have found it.
Not suitable for children. Orlov from distance on a hammer. It's just fun, and we're going to take 3 official callers with an Apex Racing Lab gift certificate as a prize if you get it right later in the show. But I really do like hearing kind of the pulse of what Canes fans are thinking and who they think is going to start hot tonight.
Yeah, I've got a couple people on our YouTube live chat have said Slavin, seen Aho, Blake, Stankoven. Someone actually, Brandon said he smells a Stankoven hat trick today. I mean, if that happens,
just averaging 2.5 through the first 2
why not?
games.
Why not? Make it all
why stop
happen.
there? Go for the quad.
Exactly.
By the way, I do think Chatfield scoring the first goal in Game 1 has empowered Canes fans to be a little weird with their guesses.
Oh, yeah.
For the end of the regular season and obviously the start of the postseason, we were getting a lot of, and there's no issues with going chalk, but we get a lot of Aho, a lot of Jarvis, a lot of Taylor Halls. Chatfield scored the opener in Game 1. Now we're like Slavin, Stanky,
Orlov. Yeah, we're all over the place.
We're all over the place. Walt Ruff, team president, did say Kokaniemi in the first. And Doug Warf, sorry, I may have gotten them mixed up. And Walt Ruff, the team reporter, said Orlov in the first is the ones they're vibing with. So again, we're getting to those at about 4:33. So have your dialing fingers ready. When we come back, we're going to get to our Cup check-in with Adam Gold, presented by Carolina Ale House. He'll be checking in with Canes legend Eric Cole. We'll hear that conversation coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
The Canes are back in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's Game 2.
Stankoven with a drive. He scores! Logan Stankoven's first goal in the playoffs with the Canes.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 5. Puck Drop at 6.
Stankoven, he scores! A power play goal in second of the period puts the Canes up 3-0.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50. Add any size Sprite for $1.49. Price of participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
When it comes to restoring cars, Diego's got skills. And with Total Wireless in his corner, the whole world sees them. With the dual camera system on his new iPhone 13, he can take amazing car photos and post them on the fly with super fast 5G, and even turn this hobby into a full-time gig. His claim to fame? Claiming iPhone 13 with 5G on us. Get iPhone 13 with 5G on us when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan. Total Wireless, in your corner. For limited time while supplies last. Valid in store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires port in and ID verification. Restrictions apply.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary. Over the years, I'm often asked why we made the choice to become one of the only mortgage companies in the state to provide loans without closing costs as a primary source of funding. And my response is always the same. How did closing costs ever become a thing? Who was that first person who asked for a lower rate, heard it would cost $15,000 to save $50 a month, smiled and said, "That'd be great"? Recently, we're noticing a trend of large national lenders quoting low rates but with a high APR. This is the definition of what happened when that first person asked for a lower rate but ignored how much it would cost. Quotes today are a two-part process. It's not just the rate, but what are the closing costs? At Miller Lending, we simply don't believe you'll keep your loan long enough to realize additional savings. So before you throw away thousands of dollars in needless fees, pick up the phone and call Miller Lending today. 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
Heineken Silver is a world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. It keeps things light and refreshing all year round. It's like rain showing up to cool things off and then politely leaving. It's like cracking open a window and nailing the cross breeze. So, as we move into the warmer weather, grab a crisp and refreshing Heineken Silver and taste the difference. Only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Available at your local Heineken Heineken retailer or for delivery at Heineken.com/silver now. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
Is your AC ready for summer? Don't wait for the heat to hit. Weak airflow? Warm air? Strange noises? These are warning signs your AC needs attention. Our skilled technicians offer AC repair services or replacements to keep your family cool all summer long. Don't sweat it. 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning has your back. Here to keep your home cool all summer. Visit onehour.com to schedule today. Financing options available.
And it's Stankoven, he scores! A power play goal for Logan Stankoven. His second of the period puts the Canes up 3-0.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We are outside the Lenovo Center live all the way up until 5 o'clock. I'll give you the quick little rundown here. Then we're going to pass things off to our good friend Adam Gold. He'll take you through a hour-long special, longer, twice as long of a Storm Watch for the postseason. So an hour Storm Watch with Adam Gold from 5 to 6. Puck drop at 6 o'clock inside the Lenovo Center, just a little bit, a few steps from where we're sitting here on the plaza. 6 o'clock, Game 2, Canes, Devils. Canes lead the series 1-0. If you are out and about tailgating, right, I don't know why people say, like, the South isn't a hockey location. Who wouldn't want to tailgate outside and then go into a hockey game? I don't know. I like the idea of being able to walk around and enjoy it and then go inside and enjoy a hockey game.
Yeah, enjoy taking your subway to the game. We're out here partying.
Yeah, we're out here partying, having some drinks, having some laughs, having some good times. And if you are here tailgating, you can make your way out to the plaza. If you find our tent, the ESPN 99.9 The Fan tent, we have a what are they called? QR code.
Yeah.
Posted at the top of our tent. If you scan that, you can win a Seth Jarvis signed puck.
Ooh.
I mean, Seth Jarvis, right? Everybody's favorite. One of everybody's favorites. So, get out here and scan the QR code and enjoy potentially winning a Seth Jarvis signed puck. And, Canes fans, you want to perk your ears up for this one. We have the Cup Check-In with Adam Gold, who has Stormwatch in just a little bit. Cup Check-In presented by Carolina Ale House. Today, we are checking in with Adam and Canes legend Eric Cole. Enjoy.
Take me back to when you were a player. What were your Stanley Cup game days like?
Oh man, obviously for me when you like hearing that question and like it brings me right back to that rookie season where we, we're kind of just the underdogs all the way through it. Nobody really expected us to make too much noise, and I don't think anyone expected us to beat New Jersey, including New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
It was just it was so great, and to see how much the community was abuzz that year with the flags on the cars and just, I mean, it was anywhere you went. I'd be sitting at a stoplight and people would be honking their horns and everything. It's just the best time of year. There's no more college basketball to be watched and everything. It's the time for everyone in this area, this community to be Hurricanes fans, and it's just great.
It is awesome. The tailgating culture is real, and even on Easter Sunday, I got to the arena just before noon, and I wasn't surprised. I expected it to be the case. I knew why the team was worried because, holiest day of the year for people, but there were a ton of people out tailgating. Maybe not as many as they would have liked at that stage, but there were a ton of people, and we're encouraging people to go out today. How do you cross the line? Eric Cole is joining us. How do you not cross the line? How do you understand where the line is between being physical as you need to be, especially in round one, especially the way New Jersey played in game one, and being across the line where it puts yourself in trouble, in jeopardy of going into the penalty box?
Well, we always stressed controlled emotion. That's because, honestly, it was Easter Sunday. The tweet from the Hurricanes page, not today, Satan, was perfect. But let's face it. There was very little chance that the Devils had in Game 1. The way that this arena is, and the way that these fans come and get loud and everything, it can be overwhelming, and it certainly influences the game. But with that being said, from the players' standpoint, the player side of it, you have to be riding, that wave of emotion, but you also have to be, a little bit just conscious or cautious that you don't let it come too far. You look back to our Game 7 against Edmonton, and in the first 5 minutes, East all runs their goalie. Probably a little bit of the emotion and the energy in the building kind of getting the best of them there, but it happens. So it's, you have to, you certainly want to embrace it and use it to your advantage, but to your point, it can't go too far, and you just have to, feed off of it and just play with that. If you're trying to keep yourself on an even keel, you're still probably going to be heightened a little bit, but you're not going to be at the extreme.
Thank you very much to Adam Gold and Canes legend Eric Cole. Little cup check-in presented by Carolina Ale House, getting you ready for Game 2.
And Eric Cole touched on something very important, and a good question by Adam. How do you control the emotions? Because you don't want to get reckless, but obviously you want to let that emotion drive you in some way, shape, or form. It really is a delicate balance.
And especially, it's a great transition to what I want to talk about here. For those of you just tuning in, no expectations of any lineup changes for the Carolina Hurricanes. So they are running it back with Game 1. Freddie in net. The healthy scratches will continue to be Jost, as well as Jankowski and
Riley Stillman.
There you go. And the lines are all expected to stay the same. So we're going to get a very similar look from the Canes in Game 1, as Game 1, I should say. There's a lot to love about Game 1. Okay, Stankoven scored twice. The second line was buzzing. Freddie was solid. Chatfield scoring right out the gate. There's just the shot differential. A lot to love about Game 1. But if there was one thing I loved the most, right? If you had your favorite child, right? I love them all equally, but you gave me the best Father's Day gift, so you're in the lead for right now. It would be that the Canes were the more physical team.
Oh yeah,
the Canes were being the hammer, not the nail, to quote my high school football coach.
By the way, if you look at the stat sheet and say, well, the New Jersey Devils have more hits, that stat can be deceiving in a way, because you can't register hits when you're in control of the puck, and you can still play physical when you're in control of the puck. And
quality over quantity.
Yes.
Seth Jarvis knocking Brett Pesce on his backside, that should be worth 3.
Yeah.
There's elements of that. So I want the Canes to continue to be the aggressor. I want them to continue to be the more physical team, with the expectation being that one of the few, if I am part of the Devils' decision-making core, right, and we have a closed-door meeting, and everyone in that meeting, I'm confident in their ability to keep a secret, right? So we can be honest, and it's not going to get to the media. It's not going to get to the team. The first thing I'm saying is we're not more talented than they are. We're not going to outskate them. We're not going to do what you hope to do when you design your roster at the beginning of the year. Is you're just going to be the better team, especially with injuries the way it's set up now. That's not our path, right? So how can we equalize it, right? How can we find a way to, despite the fact that the Canes are healthier, the Canes have more skill, the Canes are more talented, how can we close that gap? And I think one of the ways to do it, Devils do have a good power play, is to try to play into some of the more frustratable Canes and see if you can't get them to make a couple mistakes. Let's look at game one. 3 seconds left on the clock in the game of a 4-1 game. What happens? Cross-check to Taylor Hall. He ends up missing practice the next day. Not saying the two are connected, but it was definitely an unnecessary hit. You see Markstrom, the goalie, get ready to slash the heck out of Andrei Svechnikov and
takes out his own guy.
A little friendly fire. And, the intent, though, was, and I don't think, Svech is one of those guys. He'll commit a dumb penalty or two. There are some makings of the Devils maybe throwing a little fit if things aren't going their way and trying to turn this into a special teams game, trying to turn this into who can control their emotions the best game. And I think the Canes should be prepared for that.
Yeah, if you're easy for me to say, if you're the New Jersey Devils, this is how difficult it's going to be for them to do this tonight, is that you want to try and take Carolina out of their 5-on-5 flow.
Yes.
And that, like you said, try and agitate guys. Carolina can't bite on that.
Mm-hmm.
If Jacob Markstrom wants to start just swinging and stick and hacking his own guys, let him. Because that showed me right there, Tim, is that Carolina had his number already. And it was, a 2-goal game at that point? Carolina already had his number. Just look at the very first goal of the game. William Carrier going right to the front of the net and getting pushed into Markstrom. Goalies don't want to get hit and bumped like that. It completely threw him off his game the rest of the day. He was out of his game. And then Svech just standing there. Cody Glass just gets chopped in half by his own teammate. And Svech just looks like, "Oh, you good, bud?
What happened back there?
What happened to you? I'm just standing here."
It very much reminds me, and I'm always looking for analogies, of the cinematic masterpiece, the very first Fast and Furious.
Yes, of course.
But it's actually not the very first. I'm talking about the second, Too Fast, Too Furious.
Oh, of course.
Where the main character, played by Paul Walker and Tyrese, are racing for pink slips up and down, and they have slower cars, and they know it, right? They're like, listen, our cars, they don't have the horsepower. So what do? They play games, right? They play chicken on the up and back. They make the other – you got to get weird. You got to play games if you don't have the horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be ready for that if you do have the horsepower and not fall for it, if you will. So, obviously, if you could pick how the game's going to go, you're going to get a quick goal from the blue line. You're going to get 2 from your rookie. You're going to have, an exceptional lead in shots on goal. But even if all that's going on, stay calm, right? And look out for each other, right? If somebody is getting a little worked up, don't be afraid to go be the hold me back, bro, right? Don't be afraid to get in between and let him blow off some steam while not crossing a line. You know what I mean? Playoff hockey is playoff hockey for a reason. And the emotions are going to bubble over sometimes, and it's about who has the best grasp on it.
And here's what you can do. This is what Carolina did. We go back to that game here at Lenovo Center against the Washington Capitals a couple weeks ago. In that game, what did Carolina do? Anytime Washington took a dumb penalty because they were trying to muck things up, they kept cashing in on the power play. That's how you beat a team. That's how, if you want them to stop doing it, keep scoring on the power play. Hey, fine, you want to go take penalties? We'll just keep putting them in the back of the net. Who you really hurting? You trying to come after us? Because guess what? Now you're skating across the ice while we're celebrating a goal. Do you want to keep doing that? Because that's where you start getting into it, and then you really have New Jersey's number. When Jersey takes dumb penalties, you have those power play opportunities, cash in.
You could argue, even at full strength, with the injuries, Jersey is already kind of disadvantaged.
Oh, absolutely. That team cannot skate with Carolina over the course of a series. They cannot.
They're already down one Hughes. Another Hughes goes down. Dylan, for those of you that haven't heard, also not expected in this one. So they're already dealing with injuries from prior to game one. So the Canes have an opportunity here. I want to emphasize the importance of not just having an opportunity, but making sure you take the opportunity to make it a short series, right?
Yeah.
I said this after game one that there's no excuse for this thing to go more than 5. I'm going to double and triple down on that, especially because we see how exhausting the Canes system is. We see how Freddie Anderson plays when he gets a little bit of a rest. I do not think there is any reason to expect this thing to go more than 5, and then any day or two of added rest you can add becomes an advantage for. The odds will tell you a matchup with the Washington Capitals in the second round if the favorites advance. So you gotta You got to put the killer instinct out there, and if the Devils are going to be wounded and leaking oil, put them out of their misery.
And New Jersey, for looking in advance, New Jersey's not a heavy team. Like they obviously do have some big guys, but they're not a team that plays heavy that's going to wear down on Carolina. So to add into what you're saying about, hey, finish them in 5, you should be feeling fresh going into round 2 relative to obviously what a lot of other teams are doing. I mean, gosh, if you just enjoy playoff hockey, if you watched Winnipeg and St. Louis last night, my goodness. It was a wrestling match out there. Like the way those two teams are going at it. But that stuff wears teams down as the playoffs go along. This is where Carolina can take advantage of already a depleted New Jersey team. Wear them down. Absolutely wear them down.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are outside the Lenovo Center live, getting ready for Game 2 between the Canes and the Devils. I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox was the voice you just heard a couple of seconds ago. If you're out and about, if you're here, if you're tailgating, if you're driving in, stop by, say hi. You can give us a first goal scorer prediction. We're going to get to the official contestants of first goal scorer predictions in a second.
Little man over here just said Aho in the first. We have another guy here that just said Aho in the first.
Aho in the first. Nothing wrong with going with the best odds.
I mean,
nothing
wrong with that at all.
Aho and Jarvis in the first. Those are going to be popular picks. The official contestants will get their chance. They can go chalk. They can go off the wall here in a minute or two. But if you want another way to win, we have QR codes here outside the Lenovo Center on our tent. And if you scan those, you'll be entered to win a Jarvis signed puck.
Real quick, speaking of Jarvis, speaking of Aho, I know we got to get to first goal scorers. One thing we haven't mentioned from last game, Aho, Jarvis, and Blake were just okay.
Yep.
They were just okay, and they still dominated the New Jersey Devils on Sunday. Imagine if that line gets to buzzing like they were late in the year. New Jersey can't skate with this team. They just can't.
And I don't expect too many quiet games for that line.
No, I don't
not
either.
The way that they're skating right now. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, is opening up the Heister Automotive Group hotline for first goal scorer predictions. The number to call, 919-860-5326. If you call in right now and you predict who will score the first goal for the Canes tonight in Game 2 and in what period that goal will be scored, if you get both correct, you'll win a sweet Apex Racing Lab gift certificate. But you have to call in now, 919-860-5326. We'll take 3 official contestants on air. Everybody else, if you don't get in, if you don't get through on the phone lines, that's okay. For bragging rights, you can head to our YouTube live stream, comment your prediction of first goal scorer and period. You can also send it to me on Twitter at Donnelly Sports. Many are commenting on my last post with their first goal scorer predictions. Just a player and a period and any other details you want to throw in for bragging rights. The number to call, 919-860-5326. If one of our official contestants gets it correct, they will win the ultimate sim racing experience at Apex Racing Lab. You can rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 20 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, and world-class virtual tracks. Located in Carys-McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh, visit Apex Racing Lab today and unleash your racing passion. Learn more at apexracinglab.com. That's apexracinglab.com. Graham is back at the studio filling up the lines. While he does that, I'll read you some of the predictions that we're getting on our YouTube live stream. On our Twitter, sending it to me at Donnelly Sports. David says Aho shorthanded in the first.
Oh, okay. All right.
You know the rule, David. If you're listening now, the rule is simple. If you pick shorthanded, you have to say who's in the box. You have to make the prediction who's in the box.
I mean,
so David, you can comment back on Twitter if you have an answer there.
Fetch, right?
I mean, that's again. There's nothing wrong with going with the chalk.
We should have a new contest at some point. First penalty for the Canes tonight. Who is it? What period?
That actually would be.
That would actually be. I know a Fetch hook.
It's less team pro, but
I know.
But I'm with it there. Taylor Hall Witt on Twitter says Taylor Hall. Blake says Stanky. Peyton has Svetch. Andrew says Jarvis. I like the variety. I'm being told
we got Slavin, we got Orlov, Blake, all on our YouTube live stream. We got all over the place.
I'm being told that our phone lines are ready to roll. Chad in Hillsboro is up first. Chad in Hillsboro, welcome to the show. Go ahead and give us your first goal scorer prediction and in what period you think the goal will be scored.
I'm going to give you probably one of the popular ones, Jarvie in the first on a 5-on-5.
Jarvie in the first. All right, you are locked in. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with going chalk. He's multiple-time 30-goal scorer before the age of 23. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
So, Chad, stay on the line. Graham has some info he needs to grab from you, but thank you for calling in. David in Raleigh is up next. David in Raleigh, who is your first goal scorer prediction, and in what period do you think they score it?
Hey, guys, I'm calling in to predict that Andrei Svechnikov is going to score in the first period, 5-on-5, with a one-timer in the first period. He's been heating up lately, and I feel it coming.
I like it.
Let's go.
I hope he shoots it with the confidence he did in Game 82 of the regular season, the goal scored. Love it. One-timer from Svech, locked in for David. Stay on the line. Graham has some info he'll grab. And finally, Marissa in Durham. Marissa, welcome to the show. Thank you for calling in. Who scores the first goal and in what period?
I'm going to go with somebody a little different. I'm going with Hall in the first.
Was that Stahl?
Hall. Taylor Hall.
Okay.
Yeah,
Taylor Hall.
He's due. He's so due. He's buzzing around the ice like crazy. He's due.
I'm with it. Stahl, Hall, they all rhyme. I don't care who scores, but for your case, I hope it's Hall in the first. Marissa in Durham, thank you very much for calling in. Stay on the line. Graham will grab some info. We have a young Caniac joining us here outside the Lenovo Center, throwing on the headset. Go ahead and tell us your name, little guy.
My name's Reed.
Reed, welcome to the show. This is a portion of the show where we have first goal scorer predictions. So, who do you think scores the first goal for the Carolina Hurricanes?
Sebastian Aho.
Okay, I like this.
I like it. And in what period do you think he's going to score it?
First.
First? Do you want to give any more details? Is it a power play? Is it a slap shot? And anything that you're feeling in your gut?
2-on-1.
Oh,
2-on-1.
Okay. Okay. Who's on the two? Who's with them? Who's with them on the 2-on-1?
Jarvis.
Okay, I like this. I
like
this. Reed knows what's going on.
That is fantastic, Reed. You know what? Join us anytime, okay?
Okay.
All right. Go ahead and enjoy the game, Reed. Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Reed.
Reed has Aho in the first. We'll assume it's assisted by Jarvis.
Yeah.
In that that 2-on-1 on a little rush there from the studs. Dennis, who's your first goal scorer prediction?
I'm going to go a little bit off the beaten path here. It's all right. You can jump down, Reed. Yeah, we got you. There you go.
He's in the Aho jersey.
I know he's in the Aho jersey. See, I can't take Reed's pick.
No.
Because
and he's got the messy shorts, so it's all about goal scoring.
See, look at that. This kid knows.
And the Nike low tops.
I know. This kid's got it going.
Reed's cooler than I am.
He really is.
Than I ever was.
And me, too. I'm going to go a little off the beaten path.
Okay.
All right? Generally in the playoffs.
We've heard just about every name. I don't know where you could go that hasn't been explored by someone.
Wait. In the playoffs, you often see and hear guys that generally might be a third, fourth line guys, a little bit more of a grinding physical role because of the lack of space that you see in the playoffs, because the way teams play in the playoffs is so different. The guys that can handle and work in tight space and get to the front of the net are generally the ones that are rewarded. Give me William Carrier off a rebound in the first period.
I actually don't think we've heard Carrier.
Exactly.
And actually going to, I know Rod doesn't number the lines, but going to the fourth line today is not a bad move.
It's not.
Because the Devils are going to have some guys out there that are not ideal for them in their playoff roster.
Carrier played the first 39 games of the year, had the lower body injury, missed 39 games, came back and played the last few games of the year. Overall, his body is fresh. For a guy that plays a physical heavy game, he's 6'1", 6'2", 220 pounds. The guy plays a physical heavy game. This is the type of guy that he was brought in for the playoffs. His style of play is built for playoff hockey. That's why I'm taking William Carrier. And who was the guy crashing to the front of the net when Jalen Chatfield scored that first goal a few minutes in the other game? It was William Carrier getting to the front of the net. That's what the guy does. He puts in a rebound today in the first period.
I love that, and this goes back a couple games. When Will Carrier came back from the long injury absence, and it took him like 27 seconds on the ice before he was putting a guy into the boards.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, he is what he is, and it's something the Canes need.
The guy played half the season and led the team in hits. He played half the season and led the team in hits.
I would also look at other guys on the team and go, he played half the season and he led the team in hits.
There's that too. But that's his style.
Glass
that's
half
what
full,
he brings.
glass half empty. Which one are you looking at there?
And his name is on the cup for a reason. His name is on the cup for a reason when he won it with the Vegas Golden Knights a couple years ago. His name is on the cup because he plays the style of hockey that is meant for the playoffs.
Earlier today, we had Walt Ruff, team reporter, on the show. He went with Orlov in the first as his first goal scorer prediction. I just got a tweet from April on Twitter.
Okay.
I'm going to agree with April. I'm
right.
also going to agree with Doug Warf. the team president that joined us and made his prediction. Jesperi Kotkaniemi in the first. I called it in 82, game 82 of the regular season. I said he was just starting to unleash, right? He was holding everything back. He was getting ready to pounce, let it go in game 82, scored a goal, first one of the game. Then he played that line that he was on, played great in game 1. Probably could have, if you play that level of hockey 10 times, you're going to have more goals 9 out of 10 times. He gets I'm thinking it's a highlight. I'm thinking it's something special. I'm thinking Jesperi Kotkaniemi reminds everybody that he was a top draft pick and has all the ability in the world. He's a big dude. Maybe guys bouncing off him. Something going on. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, likely on a feed from Taylor Hall, scores a highlight goal early. I'm going first 6 minutes of the game. Jesperi Kotkaniemi sets the tone just like Jalen Chatfield did in game 1. That's my first goal scorer prediction. We have our 3 locked-in official contestants. For bragging rights, you can keep sending them to us on YouTube and our YouTube live stream, 99.9 The Fan. Subscribe while you're there. On Twitter and any other way you can get the message to us. Just player and period for first goal scorer. And before we take a break, here's Dennis Cox with a message for you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, interest rates, they've dropped. It's time to give Loan Pronto a call. If you're looking to get that cash out of your home equity, refinance out of a high rate, or do that home improvement project, call Loan Pronto now and make it happen in a matter of days. Take advantage of this opportunity to get tens or even hundreds of thousands out of your home equity. Pay off all your credit cards. Pay off your car loans. The average homeowner cuts their monthly bills by $1,000 a month. You can get more info by visiting loanpronto.com. Inflation and higher costs, they put a lot of people in a stressful financial situation. But if you own a home, there is a way out. Loan Pronto has multiple options that can help you get the financial freedom that you deserve. Most homeowners get their cash in less than 2 weeks, and most don't even need an appraisal. Do the smart thing. Stop paying insane rates on those credit cards. Wipe them all out, get a lower mortgage rate, and get some money for that home improvement project. It all starts by getting in contact with the experts at this. That's Loan Pronto. Visit loanpronto.com or call now, 919-381-1760. Again, the website, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 16617881, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
We are inching towards game time, 6 o'clock puck drop. Scheduled for Game 2 of the Canes-Devils first-round series of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Canes lead, obviously, 1-0. We have a 5 o'clock Storm Watch coming your way with Adam Gold. 6 o'clock, the broadcast will be passed over to Mike Maniscalco, Trip Tracy, and the broadcast. And when we come back, in honor of the Canes, in honor of us being outside of the Lenovo Center, taking in the energy, I do something I haven't done since college. Stick around.
Celebrate 50 years of adventure at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Enjoy award-winning performances and European-inspired attractions. Feel the excitement of thrilling rides like the all-new Big Bad Wolf, the Wolf's Revenge, opening in May. And seasonal events like the Food and Wine Festival, where you can taste, sip, and savor more than 150 flavors from around the world. Featuring over 80 new menu items, only at the world's most beautiful theme park. Save up to 30% on tickets, fun cards, and memberships during our Spring Spectacular sale. Hurry, offer ends soon. Restrictions apply.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time.
Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets. Choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
Hello, Scott Forbes, head baseball coach, University of North Carolina. When it comes to choosing a dealership, I stick with Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. Growing up in Sanford, I've been fortunate to be lifelong friends with Will Wilkinson. My family and I have been buying and having our vehicles serviced at Wilkinson for many, many years. Great service, competitive prices, and most importantly, a place you can trust. Go where I go. Go see my longtime friend Will Wilkinson at Wilkinson, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC.
Spring into deals with fresh savings at Lowe's. Right now, get 4 Stay Green or Premium 2 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. Plus, get up to 35% off select major appliances and save $50 on every $500 you spend on select LG appliances. Shop in-store or online today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/30. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details or qualifying items. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
The Carolina Hurricanes 4-1 victory, and they now have a 1-0 series lead in the race to 4. It's a best-of-7 first-round matchup, and the Canes take Game 1 here at Lenovo Center.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You can tell it's almost game time here at the Lenovo Center. Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox, outside of the Lenovo Center on the plaza. Everybody's getting ready for Game 2 between the Canes and the Devils. Graham Hill back at the studio, keeping us up and running. We continue to get first goal score predictions from fans in the area. Matt?
Yeah, Matt Morrison, one of our regular listeners, actually one of our regular commenters on our YouTube live stream. So if you're watching that way, you'll see Matt's name a bunch. He said Jackson Blake in the first period.
Jackson Blake in the first. We just got our big boss, Brian Gruby, threw Aho in the first into the mix.
Don't hate it.
I mean, let's be real, right? We play this for funsies. We do the first goal score prediction for fun. We want lots of Canes goals. We want them early. We want them often. We want them late. We want them first period, second period, third period. We want the Canes to end up victorious with I always think it's funny. In the Canes, in the playoffs, anytime there's a 7-game series, every game is pivotal, right? When people are saying, we're coming up on pivotal Game 2, coming up on pivotal Game 3, and also any lead is a commanding lead, right? They're going for a 2-game commanding lead. It's almost like you need a description in there, right? If it were 1-1, they'd be going for a commanding 2 games to 1 lead. It's just when you're talking about series, certain words have become cliche. But with that being said,
staving
off,
staving off a little bit, staving.
Backs against the wall. But so with all of that being said, we're sitting here outside Lenovo Center ahead of a pivotal Game 2 where the Canes look for a commanding 2-0 lead over the New Jersey Devils.
Looking to stave off the Devils from getting a win in this series.
It fits. There's a reason people do it. Let's make some predictions. Dennis, give us a final score. And a little bit of flowery language to set the scene.
4-2 Carolina Hurricanes. I think Carolina jumps out early with a 1-0 lead. William Carrier goal is my first goal scorer. I actually think that Jersey responds in the final 5 minutes of the first to tie things up. I want to say Carolina gets the next 2 in the second period, and they get an early one in the third to make it 4-1, and then a cheap one late by New Jersey makes it 4-2. But that's my final prediction for the game.
I'm gonna go with the pair. I'm going matching 4-1 victories.
Okay.
I think the Canes, again, just looking at them like player for player, right? You go roster all the way on down. You're not going to find a ton of matchups that lean in favor of New Jersey, and that's not me being homer. That's not me being biased. Although I will admit I am. Like I have a rooting interest, but putting my objective hat on, the Canes have more talent on the roster right now.
Yeah.
So I think they capitalize. I think they're in a good headspace. I think they're well rested. I think they're healthier. I think they walk away with another 4-1 victory. Part of the conversation, though, that I do want to pay attention to is our guy Freddie Anderson in net.
Yeah.
As much as I would love for, suddenly all of the goalie worries to go away, that's just not how it works, right?
Yeah.
One solid game does not mean that the goaltender scaries just are gone forever. So, I'm fairly comfortable and fairly certain that going into every postseason game this year, I'll be a bit concerned about the play in net, regardless of who it is, Freddie or Pyotr Kochetkov. And I'm just going to have to deal with that and hope for the best.
And I'm sure Freddie wants to hear your pregame speech here in just a moment, for sure, because he might need it. But I just want to see Freddie. I know he gave up the one goal last game. I thought it was a little bit soft. I just thought he was off his line. He was a little deep, a little off his line. But I want to see Freddie Anderson just be in control with side to side. It just felt like late in the season, and even a little bit against New Jersey, a little bit, he was a little erratic and kind of frantic moving side to side. I want to see him just be a little bit more calm and smooth.
All right, Dennis, you teased it. So I was thinking, there are certain, have you seen the meme where it says, one day your parents put you down and never picked you back up and you didn't know it at the time?
Yeah.
One day you went out and played with the kids in the neighborhood for the last time and you just didn't know it? Well, there was a time in college where I gave a pregame speech to my position group or to the offense, and it was the last time I was ever going to do it, and I didn't know. And I don't want that to be the last time. And there's something special about Canes hockey, something special about playoff hockey. So at the risk of being cringy, at the risk of embarrassing myself, because you can't worry about that.
Go for it.
It's time for a pregame speech for the Carolina Hurricanes. I never get to give a good pregame speech anymore, so here we go. Canes, listen up. Gather around. Take a knee. So you played great in Game 1. You won 4-0. What does that mean? Nothing. What does that carry? You don't start today with any kind of a lead because, oh, great, Logan Stankoven, everybody loves you. Where's Stanky? Yeah, everybody loves you, huh? Scored 2 goals. That means nothing today unless you do it again. Memories are for looking back on when you're on a porch, when you're in a rocking chair and you have a drink in your hand. Memories are not for the now. Right now, memories are worth nothing. It's about what you do tonight. When Timo Meier tests you tonight. Where's Jackson Blake? Yeah, Timo Meier's coming for you. He's smelling rookie. What are you doing when Timo Meier tests you tonight? They say you aren't a playoff performer, Freddie. They say you don't get back, you don't get better, you don't level up. Are they right? I don't know. You have to show us. Tonight, Game 2. Is PK Subban right when he puts you 8th in the East? Is Paul Bissonnette right when he treats you like the ugly stepchild? I know it's only those of us in here in this locker room, we're the only opinions that matter, but we hear it. And we don't have to like it. Why would they say no one wants to play in Carolina? Because Mikko Rantanen didn't want to play in Carolina? Because Jake Gensel didn't want to play in Carolina? Who cares about a Mikko or a Gensel? Make them wish they did. That's what this playoffs is about. That's what this postseason is about. It is about making everyone realize that everyone should want to play for the Carolina Hurricanes. The Lenovo Center will be jumping. The Caniacs will be ready to explode. It's your responsibility to give them something to explode about. Show them that Raleigh is a hockey town.
Let's go.
And you are either riding with the Canes or you are getting steamrolled by the Canes. There is no middle ground. Sure, they're injured. They're banged up. We're playing a jersey. We're not playing a player. Show them who really owns red and black, particularly in the Lenovo Center. I need everybody to understand there's only one way we're coming back into this locker room. Intermission. But after that, there's only one way we're coming back into this locker room, and that's ahead 2-0 with a commanding 2-0 lead over the New Jersey Devils. Because that's what a Carolina Hurricane does. They bring the ruckus. All right, hands in. On 3. Give me a Carolina Hurricanes. 1, 2, 3. There we go, everybody. I don't know if you could hear that. There's actually a speech going on just here on the Lenovo Center as well.
I thought you were Stone Cold. Give me a hell yeah. Hell yeah.
The only right? Because I wasn't a big speech giver. I will say that pregame speeches usually do have to have a little bit more language that I can't say on the radio.
Oh, there's that.
So that was the PG version of what we had. We'll see if that works. If they go out and play lights out, we might bring it back.
Let's go.
If the motivation works. If it doesn't, we'll never talk about it again. So here's the deal, everybody. We have a 1-hour Storm Watch coming up where Adam Gold, maybe he'll give you a pregame speech, but he'll definitely give you a bunch of insight and information into what the Canes need to do to get a 2-0 lead. You'll hear from the newsmakers within the team and organization, as well as Adam. And then Puck Drop is 6 o'clock.
Let's go.
Puck Drop, 6 o'clock here at the Lenovo Center,
Let's
home of the Carolina
this
Hurricanes.
team.
Let's destroy this
Let's
team.
destroy them.
Nameless, faceless opponent.
No, I know their names.
Their names are the New Jersey Devils. Thank you to Graham for keeping us up and running back at the studio. Thank you to everybody that watched and participated with first goal scorer predictions. You can still get them in up until game time. They will be time-stamped on YouTube and Twitter, so we know if you got it in before game time. Until tomorrow when we get to break down, hopefully, a Canes win. And dare I say, a Canes win. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy the game. Enjoy Storm Watch. We'll see you tomorrow.
The Canes are back in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's Game 2.
Stankoven with a drive. He scores!